So I've had a bit of a revelation about this whole Travois thing. We've spent a lot of the series waiting to get to a point where I can actually use this. And in between episodes, I've just been thinking about the frustration of really just the last episode, period. And there's been a little bit of discussion, as I mentioned. Oh, I've got all this stuff on me. That's right. Let's go ahead and drop some of it here. As I'm dropping this, I'll keep talking. There's been a little bit of discussion in the comments. I've discussed openly, like different ways of using the Travois, like maybe you have more than one Travois to drag stuff around, and there's certainly different strategies that different players could use. Let me tell you what I'm currently thinking. There have been some people in the comments who have been like, I don't use a Travois. It's not worth it. I'm not going to go that far. But I will say that, unfortunately, my experience with this new item, amazing as it is, as much as I'm loving it, like, my expectations of what it would allow me to do in my head were obviously a little bit fantastical in nature. And I'm kind of coming to terms with that in real time in front of everyone. So, what I'm going to try to do going forward, I've committed to bringing this Travois with me to the Forsaken Airfield. That's what I'm going to do.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
I'm going to do this. We can still move with this, but once we've moved through this territory, once we've gotten the Travois to the Forsaken Airfield, I am going to change the way that I use it. I'm really not going to drag so much stuff around with me all the time, and part of me is tempted to go ahead and leave some stuff behind now, to tell you the truth. It's just that there's a lot of things that I need, that I would potentially leave behind, that, I need. Now, the good thing is right now, I'm realizing as I speak, even as I just listen to myself, that one thing I could definitely do is I could leave some stuff right here. Let me step forward into the light so that it's even more obvious and everything is visible. I have to come back through here. I have to visit this cave when I leave the far territory. So anything that I leave here, I can kind of come back for. And I can make decisions about, do I want these things, do I not want these things, etc. So, for example, extra fire strikers that I'm lugging around with me. Now, hold on a second. Before I make that decision, let's think in terms of the heaviest stuff. What are the things that I don't need with me right now, like in Forsaken Airfield? I have some extra clothes that are not necessary at all. I can probably harvest those in short order. Yeah, food is a relatively significant issue. I'm going to leave some of the cooking materials behind, including the salt. And the reason I'm leaving the salt is, frankly, I'm likely to find more. So we're going to leave the salt for now. Tools are overwhelmingly problematic right now. Now, part of the problem is just that I'm carrying so many torches. That's not necessary. So let me actually step over here. And I'm going to drop a bunch of this right away. It's nice to kind of learn in real time and figure this stuff out, even though I know it can be frustrating for those of you who have already figured it out. But I appreciate those of you as well who have given me space to sort of figure this out and struggle with it without being too direct or saying, like, what you feel I'm doing wrong or anything like that. That's not a really helpful way, I think, for anyone to learn. Certainly not for a content creator who is commentating and playing at the same time. And it's frustrating enough that I'm like having to go back and forth and do the stuff that I've been doing with the Travois. So I appreciate those of you who have kind of been patient and had the attitude of, he'll figure it out, because you know that I will. And I definitely have. I think that there's a good amount of stuff that I'll be able to take care of right here. Also, it'd be nice just to be in this cave for a bit and subsist and regain a little bit of condition before we move forward into the far territory. So I'm going to go ahead and try to lighten the load here, rather than bring the entire Travois with me the rest of the way. If it wasn't clear that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I know I just said a moment ago that I am committing to bringing it with me. I will bring the Travois with me, but I'm not going to keep lugging this entire load. It's just not necessary. and it takes way too much time. There's a part of me, I mean, if I'm in certain areas of Great Bear, almost said Big Bear, there's the Californian in me. If I'm in certain areas of Great Bear, then there might be situations where I kind of bring it with me everywhere. But for the most part, the Travois seems to be something that is used for incidental needs. When you have something that you need to lug with you over a short distance. The example that's come up a lot is like a bear carcass. That's one that people have brought up. You can get an entire bear on the Travois immediately, and that's a great example. All right, so there's that Worn Simple Parka. I'm going to go ahead and pick some of this stuff back up, really just so that I can sort it again, because I dropped a lot of stuff here before I made the decision to leave a lot of things behind. I'm working on it, my dear. That's why we're doing this. So I'm probably immobile right now, if I had to guess. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, with that being done, we're definitely going to drop that. We can probably drop the cured leather, although before I do that, let's take a look at the condition of the items I'm wearing. Looks like there's nothing I need to repair leather-wise. So I'm going to go ahead and leave... Let's see. Yeah, we'll leave the cured leather on the ground. We'll leave the storm lantern. I'm going to leave the old mill flower, because lugging that around is incredibly taxing. And let's go category by category. Now, we probably don't need all these fire strikers. Having 2 is handy. And there are even, like, I've got an extra pound of matches at this point, which is hilarious. I wish there was a slightly faster way to drop all. I wish there was a hotkey for drop all, you know? I don't know of one. If there is one, please enlighten me. I've been playing The Long Dark for more than 1,000 hours. Somebody in the comment section the other day said, you've played this game for 200, 300 hours. It's like, do you know who you're talking to? Okay, let's see. Fresh deer hide. Yeah, we definitely want that. I could leave the saplings behind to cure. So let's do that. And I can come back for them later. So that's one bit of strategy that can go into this. Oh, those burn torches. It looks like coal sitting there on the ground. Alright, now, the cured sapling I will take with me. But let's just go right here and drop these uncured items. We have this deer hide as well, which I will leave here to cure. Now, what else? Still carrying a hell of a lot. So the Travois might still come in handy for getting some of this stuff the rest of the way. I can probably drop the gunpowder. I can definitely drop the gunpowder. What am I saying? Of course I can drop the gunpowder. I can drop the second flashlight. I don't know that I want to drop the bow, but I might have to. I can probably read some books before I leave the cave. That'll help get rid of some of the weight, just not all of it. So the broth is one item. By the way, if you missed it, there was a patch. There was a pretty major hotfix to the Long Dark yesterday. It was very, very nice to see. Yeah, there's going to be lots of cooking items available in Forsaken Airfield, so I'm not too worried about bringing that stuff with me. Let's leave the antiseptic. Let's leave the lower condition energy drinks. Okay, we're starting to get to a more manageable weight. I don't like this because it does mean I'm going to be slow for a while. But I can get rid of some of the weight by reading, which is also a really good way for me to pass the time while I heal. Let's drink some sodas, lose some weight that way. We still have some exploring to do with this cave as well. But this is just going to be a more efficient way for me to keep moving forward. I'm going to bring the Travois with me, but not in such a way that I'm dragging it. And if I do, what I can do is I can lay it down and use it to reduce my encumbrance. So, again, actively learning, figuring it out as I go, and just realizing that my expectations of what I would be able to do with it were a little bit of a fantasy. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, frickin' carcass harvesting 10-hour book. Why? Why? Why is that necessary? Why are you like this? Yeah, let's do the cooking. This will actually help. And I might even be able to finish it. I will. Perfect. Alright, so that's going to be the next level of cooking skill. Let's go ahead and drop that. Nice. Cooking 4. Heck yes. Oh, let's drink some water. I don't have a ton of water, so we're going to need to do something about that soon-ish. And I don't have anything to light a fire with, so I might be taking some of those torches there. Okay. What else? I can probably read a little bit more, but I think I'm good to start moving at this point. The scrap metal, I'm going to leave as well. Strictly because I'm going to be able to find more. Period. There will be more. Replacement fuses, I'm tempted to do the same. Because I can come back for all of this stuff. You know? Okay. I don't see anything else that I really need to drop. The burdock roots are a little bit heavy. Yeah, so I'm going to be a little bit encumbered here. I'm going to move forward for a bit. Tell you what, let's grab a couple of these torches. Not because I need the torches, but because I could potentially use the sticks. So let me give you some visibility, because I know YouTube is going to YouTube. So it'll be a bit of a slog, but then I'll set some more stuff down in Forsaken Airfield. And then getting to Forsaken Airfield, I'm honestly excited to get there because I haven't really been to the Forsaken Airfield on these loot tables. So there's going to be a lot to be found. And we're going to have to do some, we're going to have to basically set up camp at the bottom of the Forsaken Airfield, or at the bottom of the airfield basement, basically. We go to the hangar, go down to the bottom floor, and distribute some stuff in there and stay for a while we sort of explore and see what we can find. And then we can take care of Signal Void, head back into Great Bear, actually finish that quest for the first time, and then move into the zone of contamination. With regard to that patch that I just mentioned, by the way, I haven't had too much time to review the patch notes, but it's a lot of minor fixes, as you would expect, for the first hotfix of the year, but it's a lot. I glanced through the list, and we're looking at a substantial list of fixes, so I haven't had a chance to really review and speak in depth to anything that I saw yet, but it was very promising. It's nice to see. I don't remember the layout of this cave, so I'm kind of flying blind here. Words cannot describe my enthusiasm for getting this new build together. As I mentioned, I'm only running the 4K monitor right now, and you can't see the game in 4K yet, but just having this as an experience has motivated me to get to a point where we can have 4K recording as soon as possible. It's so gorgeous. It's going to take me probably the first half of the year to really get to a point where I can make the entire build happen. So it's going to be a bit before we have 4K content on the channel, but oh my god, is this pretty. Okay, here we go. I see a flare there. Now I need to go ahead and sleep, so now that I'm on this side of the cave, a couple more things to do. Let's go ahead and first of all, enjoy that soda and finish those pinnacle peaches, because that'll be a little bit more hydration, as well as calories. 102 units of caloric value. Let's finish those ketchup chips, partially eaten. Is that a partially eaten potato? Yes, it is. Let's eat that as well. Been sitting in my inventory for God knows how long. I think that was a... Were those partially cooked acorns? Or partially eaten acorns? Not partially cooked, but partially eaten. I think they were. Okay. Ooh, that tomato soup is getting dropped. That's not happening, ever. That's how you can separate the channel veterans from the newbies. If you get that joke. That's how you know. That's how you know you've been around for a while. When you can laugh about that. Okay, so let's go for 9 hours. We'll recover some condition here while we sleep. Much needed. Okay, so frostbite risk has healed on account of me, you know, actually putting things on my hands, which is nice. Now, I don't actually have anything to drink, and that's a problem.
The guy who drank his own pee doesn't seem so crazy right now.
Yeah, that's a little bit annoying. So, hang on. Do I have... I mean, I have the new tomato soup here, so I can at least consume this so I don't lose condition while I make a fire. But I need to go ahead and make a fire and get some cooking done before I leave here. And then we're going to head into the transition zone and see what else we can find before we get to Forsaken Airfield. I'm going to go ahead and use that accelerant just because anything I can do to get rid of a bit of extra weight, I'm going to do. Okay, there's that. And now... No, I didn't mean to... Okay, that's rude. You would think with more pixels there would be fewer misclicks. Not the way it works. But one thing I want to do here is just cook. We're not going to do a lot of water. We're going to do a little bit because I don't want to just add unnecessary burden. That would be silly. Okay, let's drink that. And that'll take care of most of the thirst problem in one go. Then I can do the same thing again. I can drink that to take care of the rest. It'll give us a little bit extra, and then I'll take what's in the pot. Meanwhile, I will go ahead and cook some pork and beans here. Alright, 11 minutes till ready. Perfect. Let's go ahead and eat those. That should keep me nice and warm. Path time till that's ready. Grab that. Pick that up, and we're not too encumbered. It's not ideal. I would like to be moving faster than this. But it's near the beginning of the day. We've got an aurora right now, which is lovely. Let's get the rifle out. So we do have the potential for a wolf ahead. This is going to be the first time I've had a chance to shoot an aurora wolf in this series, I think. Gorgeous night. Thankfully it's not too cold. I mean, it's cold, don't get me wrong, but I just had those warm pork and beans. And we're going to make our way downtown. Not walking fast, though. Walking very slow. So here's something... Alright, let's be adaptable a little bit. Like, if we know that we're walking slow and we hate it, we have the Travois. Let's deploy it. And go for the heavy stuff. We're going to put the hatchet away briefly. We'll put the miner's flashlight away. Although, actually, no, I'll take that back out because I might be able to use that in a minute. Let's put the books on the Travois, the energy drink, most of the stems. All those torches again. The flares. The sewing kits. The recycled cans I'm just going to drop. I don't need those. I'll keep one of them. There, that's a pound there. And now it's a lot more manageable. So we've got the rifle out. There we go. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. We have the option to put that thing down to help us move faster over long trips. So that we're not... And that really, when you think about it, is the intention of the item. It's like if you're going to be... If you have to carry a lot of stuff over a long distance and you want to make it a little faster, it's not that you try to bring everything with you, but that you have this tool that you can use. Hang on, I'm trying to keep my field of vision adjusted here. There we go. You have this tool that you can use that allows you to sort of adapt the way that you're carrying the weight and make it easier, rather than lugging it with you everywhere. It took me a minute to realize that. Okay, now as I recall, there is a wolf ahead and also a cave up there. So I'm going to drop the Travois real quick, and we're going to veer up here. 1, to check the cave. 2, just to spot for the wolf.
Starting to feel numb.
Oh, you're fine. You are so completely fine. You're beyond fine. Oh, wow. Okay, nothing in the cave. There's a little bit of firewood, which is nice, I guess. And this does give me an opportunity to pop down the bedroll and, like, maybe get a couple of hours sleep where it's warmer. So let's do that. The Travois is, of course, still sitting down there. Totally fine. The weather seems pretty good, actually. And now we don't have to deal with an aurorified wolf, which I wasn't very keen on doing that anyway, so that's a step in the right direction if you ask me. Alright, so I'm going to keep the rifle out. It's still really cold. Did I pick up the bedroll? Yes, I did. Now, the wolf should be more or less straight ahead, unless the wolf's patrol route is wider or just different in some way than I am aware of. Matter of fact, the wolf might be in a blind spot here. I need to be careful. Interesting. So the wolf might have patrolled. I do remember encountering the wolf farther down the tracks here. So I think that's what's happening. All right, we've got a hypothermia risk.
It's a goddamn freezing.
Would really prefer not to be lingering here too much longer. I'm expecting to hear a bark at any moment. Yeah, so this is working for me. This usage of the Travois is sensible. You don't have to carry all the things, you just use it to make long, heavy trips easier. rather than it being something that you use to bring your entire base with you everywhere. Which, I'm not going to go so far as to say that that's what I was consciously thinking, but I think, again, I might have been kind of hoping that that would be the case, subconsciously. That's what I kind of wanted. That's the dream, right? That's what you, like, would want in an ideal scenario. Alright, so now we're heading back into another rail tunnel. Yeah, so this is perfect, because now I have the ability to sort of transition between having the deployed Travois. I realize it's going to be a little dark here for a bit. But we're going to be able to keep it out. I'm going to keep my eyes down so that YouTube doesn't absolutely destroy what's visible. It's probably still going to give it a pretty hard time. I can still see... Oh, wow. I take it back. Oh, God. Oh, God. Darkwalker, stay away. We don't need any drama right now. Wow. Alright, I can see. I know you can't. But I'm just going to keep my eyes downward-ish. Alright, I think there's a train car in front of me. I think there is. Either that or... I'm pretty sure that's a train car. I think I see a shape looming toward me in the distance. This is eerie. I don't like this. Give us a light to attach to the Travois, for God's sake. Oh my God. Alright, good. There's some light. I'm kind of cold. I'm not liking that. But we're making good progress, which I'm a fan of. Can't keep this episode going too much longer today, but I want to try and get a little bit farther. Alright, it's going to get a little dark again. I do see a train car up ahead now. I'm amazed we didn't run into that wolf. I'm wondering where it was. It must have been behind the train cars when we went by. So we just solid snaked it. And didn't have a problem. Alright, I'm gonna keep my eyes down. How's the hypothermia risk? It's at about 20% right now. It's not ideal. Alright, there's some light. Very good. Alright, so... now we are arriving at the transfer pass, so we should be able to make it at this point. Now, interestingly enough, one thing that I'm kind of realizing as I travel here is, with the wolf population being elevated in this series, will I run into more wolves here than I ran into in Season 7? In Season 0, we came through here, and I don't remember really running into any. But I don't want to assume one way or the other, because you know what they say about assumptions. For those of you who are watching in the live audience as episodes come out, I want to say thank you again for your patience with the schedule over the last couple of weeks. I've been managing a lot of just emergent stuff, mostly personal, that has come up and just made maintaining my regular recording cadence a little bit harder than usual, and I've had to just be very forgiving with myself and say, you know, we're just going to run a lighter schedule than I would prefer to until I'm feeling good. Wasn't what I anticipated for January, but it's what happened. So thank you for your patience and for continuing to watch and enjoy and comment on the series. It's good to have you all here as always. And I really appreciate it. Alright, so as expected, not seeing, or I should say as hoped for, and as we had mild evidence for, I'm not seeing any wolves. I'm going to keep the Travois out because it's allowing me to move faster. If I go ahead and pack up now, I mean, There's an argument to be made for, like, dropping the Travois and, like, making tracks for the shelter up ahead, the station up ahead, so that I can have a little bit more health. But I'm going to be fine. We'll have an opportunity to rest here, do some reading, get a lot done, and then head into the Forsaken Airfield, all in good time. And I'm honestly feeling pretty good after the struggles of the last few episodes, and even at the beginning of this one, to like figure out what the Travois was about and understand, you know, some of the basics of like the best way to use it and overcome some of my own preconceptions about ill-conceived notions, if you will, about what the Travois was supposed to do. At this point, I'm feeling like I have more of a handle on what exactly it's for, and more of a sense of how I will specifically use it. So that's pretty freaking cool. Because after all, just as a reminder, that's the purpose of these 01 series. It's like, hey, we've got some new content in the game. Let's not pretend like we know what we're doing. Not that I've ever done that, but like, let's actually just openly commit to learning this stuff in real time and figuring it out and being okay with like having a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense and it is a struggle. And I even had one commenter yesterday or the day before just point out how interesting it was to be able to see that kind of playing out in real time. And I really appreciated that because that's what I'm going for. I think I've always preferred content creators who prioritize that kind of presentation, and it's certainly one that I go for myself. And we're just leaning into it with these Season 0 runs as much as possible. And I've really enjoyed it. I think it's paid off. Alright, there's a car battery there. That's good to know. I can bring that with me. I may actually bring it with me. I might use the Travois as a means of making that happen. Alright, so let's step in here. There could be a pretty big item here. Not gonna lie, there could be something pretty important. If we're lucky. Alright, there's a long wool scarf. Nope. Okay, well I was hoping for a particular rifle variant which can spawn here, but I think those might have been the old loot tables. So, okay, with that, we've arrived at the transition zone. Let's go ahead and drink a little bit of water just to top off that thirst issue. I'm going to stop this episode here. In the next one, we're going to head into the Forsaken Airfield. Use your words, Hadrian. Into the Forsaken Airfield. And then find the... First of all, we're going to grab the handheld shortwave and get some stuff done signal void-wise in Forsaken Airfield and explore Forsaken Airfield pretty thoroughly. But then after that, it'll be heading back into Great Bear and taking care of that subquest at long last. For the first time, too. I have never done Signal Void, ever. I attempted it in Season 7. I attempted it in Season 0. Season 0, we just put on hold because this one had to start with the update. I don't know that I will start another Season 0 run. That would be kind of counterproductive if we have another update in the coming month or two. That's not necessarily on the radar. But I think that one thing we'll do is maybe start a new playlist while continuing this save and continuing to make progress overall on the new content. I think that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for at the moment, and it seems to be working. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. For channel emotes and member badges, look for the join button to learn more. New episodes drop every day but Wednesday at 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome, so leave your thoughts below, and I will see you next time.